Alright, I am going to do an updated video on an older video that I did about the three Hurrian um, Ishtar goddesses. There's three different ones. There's the most well-known one, which is Shaushka, um, also known as the Ishtar of Nineveh in the various Hurrian texts. I wanted to, and then the other two are Pinakir or Pirinkir, and the goddess of the night, which I forget how that translates into Hurrian, but you could watch my older video to see. I'm sure I mentioned it on there. So, so I wanted to do an update video because I don't know if I described them well enough, or more as I don't know if I described them how I wanted to describe them. So this won't be a very long video, but I did want to correct some things. Um, so Shaushka um, or Shashka, however that's pronounced. Um, all right, um, so the goddess Shaushka, or Shashka. Um, so she's the main Ishtar god, like the main Ishtar goddess, or most well known, the most popular, like the most, maybe like the highest ranked. Um, so she's the sister of the highest the highest Hurrian god, Teshub, the storm god. So he's a lot like Baal Hadad for the Amorites, and like the Ugaritic and the Canaanites. Like, he's like the king of the gods. So he's similar to Baal Hadad. Um, Shaushka is also called Ishtar of Nineveh, and she also seems to be related somehow to the goddess Ashtartu of Ugarit, but not. Um, I don't know how closely connected because there's differences between the two. Anyway, all right, to describe Shaushka a little bit better than what I did in my first video. So she's the sister of the storm god Teshub. She's very close. She's closely allied with him. She's one of the most faithful allies of Teshub. Um, so yeah, they're not. She's not his consort. She's his divine sister. So, see how to explain this. So, she is not in. So she's definitely a goddess of like love and war, and she's definitely got those attributes going for her. Most more so love than warfare with Shashka. I call her Shashka, but it might be Shaushka. Um, More so, like I said, like more so like love and lust than warfare. But she does have some warfare. Um, she does have some warfare attributes as well. I mean, all Ishtar goddesses do. Um, so, however, there is another. Um, there's another aspect to her that I did not talk about before, and that should be talked about. So Teshub is a weather god, right? So that's his main thing. He's like a warlike weather weather and king style deity. So Shoshka, being his divine sister, apparently is also associated with the weather, and she's not associated with the planet Venus. Like I'll explain this in a second. Um, Obviously, a lot of Ishtar goddesses are. Shoshka is portrayed with wings. Okay, so she's definitely um, she's definitely an atmospheric and sky goddess. However, she's not a planetary goddess, according to most of the evidence. There may be some evidence for it, like later on, maybe, or like with secondary sources. But for the main sources, Hurrian sources, she is winged. So, however, in this case, she's winged because she's an atmospheric goddess and not a planetary or stellar goddess. So, and what that means for her is she's also a weather goddess. Like, she's also associated with the weather, like her brother Teshub. This is what I forgot to mention before, and the evidence for that is maybe not so much in the mythology, but in art. There's a couple different variations of her. Okay, so she's usually portrayed as a like love and lust style goddess. So that's one of her main motifs, and also as a winged goddess as well. However, there's some lesser known imagery of her where not only is she portrayed as like a love and lust goddess, but she's also portrayed as a weather goddess as well, bringing the rains. So I think she's portrayed. She's like, oh, she's got her wings. She's portrayed winged and like opening her like let's see, like a robe, I think, and then not only does it portray her as being revealing, but also it portrays, like streams of water coming down. So that I think it's because of her association with Teshub, her strong association with him, is that that's how she gets her character as a weather goddess as well. So that is really interesting. So obviously Teshub's the main weather god, weather deity, but Shoshka can also be portrayed as a weather deity, along with her love and lust character and warfare character as well. So both of them are associated with warfare, Teshub and Shoshka. Teshub probably more so, I would say. So I just wanted to clear that up. I did not mention that before. And I will cite my evidence. I feel that's important too. So the Hasanlu bowl portrays Hurrian deities and like mythological motifs. That's where you'll find her portrayed not only as a goddess of like love and lust, but also, I'm not sure if it portrays her in a warlike character. Like, there might be some attributes there in that portrayal of her, but you'll definitely see the weather attributes. So there you go. Um, Now on to the next Ishtar goddess. Pinakir is definitely associated with warfare, but she is most well known, other than warfare, she's most well known as the goddess of the morning and evening star, the planet Venus. So this Hurrian Ishtar is the one that's astral. This is the one that's most strongly associated with the planet Venus instead of Shashka. Pinakir takes that role. And she's more of a warlike character than Shashka is. Um, so Pinakir is, yeah, that's her character. The other Hurrian Ishtar is called the Goddess of the Night, and I think she represents like the starry night sky itself. Like she brings on the darkness and the night sky, as opposed to the sun god, who brings on the light of the sun in the daytime. She brings on like the darkness, and not just the darkness, but like the starry night. So she's kind of like a personification of that, I guess. So that's pretty interesting. So that is the third one. And I suppose there's like a chance that she also could be associated with like a particular constellation as well. I have to look further into that. I know Pinakir is associated with the bow star, which is not the star Sirius. Star Sirius is the arrow star. But there's a couple stars. There's like a star system close by. I forget exactly what that's called, but it's called the bow star. So Pinakir is also associated with that as well, at least in Mesopotamian sources. But Pinakir seems to be in origin an Elamite goddess. Now, Elam is east of Mesopotamia, meaning east of like Iraq and Syria, so it would be in Iran, the Iranian territory, which is pretty interesting. So, but in this case, the Hurrian Pinakir, just like the Elamite Pinakir is also strongly associated with the planet Venus. And there is let's see, as far as the Goddess of the Night goes, look at my older video to get, I'm sure I have a more proper name, like the proper Hurrian name for this one, for this goddess, but, and I, also talked more in depth about her, I believe. There is an Amorite goddess of the night as well, so she's got to be related to her in some way. So, and there is also a Hittite goddess of the night as well. So, now, with Hittite deities, it gets a little... you don't always want to associate them too strongly with Hurrian, even though the two cultures became very closely aligned, because some Hittite deities are like have an Indo-European origin or like a native Anatolian origin, as opposed to Semitic, or as opposed to like a Hurrian origin. So I don't know how closely associated the Hurrian goddess of the night is with the Hittite one. But I do explain all of these deities in my first video, my older video, on the three Hurrian Ishtars. I believe that's what it's called. But I wanted to do an update video. This is a little more accurate for, specifically wanted to go over the goddess Shashka, but also the others two as well briefly. And yeah, the Hurrian pantheon is really interesting. I've closely followed Hurrian a Hurrian polytheistic path for a very long time, since the early 2000s. And I recently got into the Babylonian path, but I think I'm more closely aligned with the Hurrian, as I've been comparing them over the last several weeks. I think I'm going to shift back to a more Hurrian-centered path myself, personally, but I do want to talk about all of the ancient Near Eastern deities, though, on my channel. So I will close it with that. I can't make videos as much as I would like to because my hands and arms are all messed up. Something wrong with, I guess my nerves, my tendons, my muscles. Trying to figure all that out with doctors. Hopefully can get some answers here soon. Some better answers. But yes, if you find the video interesting, let me know. If you want more content on the Hurrian deities, please let me know as well. Because I do have some videos on my channel, but I'm always willing to talk more about them. It's a pantheon that I'm very... I've studied it a lot. I've researched it a lot. I'm very connected spiritually with it, I should say. More so than a lot of the other Near Eastern pantheons. But yeah, I really like it. And always willing to talk about it as much as I can. So, but I will be I'll be doing more Hurrian polytheism videos in the near future. Don't know how soon I can get my next video up. Depends on how my arms and hands are doing. Well, they're kind of always bad, like every day now. But I did feel inspired to try and get this video up. So, yeah, let me know what you think about it. And until next time, I'll be back with more videos about Hurrian polytheism and ancient Near Eastern polytheism. So, as always, thank you for watching.